Well guys, welcome back to the channel. As you all know, we've always kept our promise on keeping it real with you. So originally I was headed out to Freedom Truck Meet. Really sucks. I know something, I don't know if the head's cracked or gasket or whatever, but we knew we had a little bit of an issue, but it ran real good sled pulling. So I had the 07 pulled out, ready to go to the Freedom Truck Meet. As you can see here, hitch or trailers all hooked up and everything. Fired this thing up, sounded fine, everything looked fine, oil pressure was fine, all that. I just happened to take the oil filter cap off and there is chocolate milk all over it. So I don't know if the head gasket is compromised and that's where all the water is coming from. Maybe the head is so cracked that it actually has gotten water into the oil cavity of the cylinder head. I am not too sure. So instead of having a nice weekend hanging out with everyone, we're gonna go ahead and put the spare motor into this truck. I'm not sure how far we're going to get, but I don't want to let this truck sit here for however long it takes to put the deck plate back together. I also, now that we have time and everything, we'll pull the deck plate apart. It won't be in this video, but we will pull that engine apart, look at everything that has taken place in it. I'm assuming there's probably still a little bit of debris in there, because I mean, as good as we cleaned it, there's stuff you just can't get to. So we will pull that apart in a future video. I know I promised you guys 6-liter content, and I'm not trying to hold back on that promise. I just really can't afford to have this truck sit here all summer without a motor in it. So that is the part of UCC nobody wants to talk about. Is you kill yourself to get there, you do as good as you can, stuff tears up, and then like always, stuff just gets pushed off to the side. I'm not sure what events we're gonna go to this year with the quad cab, but I wanna at least keep an engine in it. So if we do wanna go race ODSS or whatever, being that we won't have a deck plate and we'll only have a 6.4, I'm not sure what class we'll race in. Kind of hard to turn up the heat on Pro Street at that weight. So as I take this truck apart and put the other motor in it, I'm gonna just kind of really think about what direction I want to take it in, whether or not I want to do KOS again with it, or if we want to do it with a different truck or what have you. But this is real life here. So as far as putting the spare motor in, we should be able to get like the hot retorque done. The only kicker on this is that our piping was designed for a factory shelf, and this cylinder head is not a factory shelf. So there will be a little bit of fab work on the cold side intercooler pipe. It should be relatively easy because we do have a V-band on there. That V-band will allow me to set the pipe rigid and kind of tack as I go. And I already have pretty much most of that elbow already made, as well as a bung for a 6.7 map sensor. So I do believe it shouldn't be that hard. And if my memory recalls correctly, everything from when we ran that on the DDP truck, I should be able to replicate as far as fuel distribution. And then it does fit a factory injection line as well. So all of that stuff should transfer over. Let's go ahead and get this pulled in and show you guys what I'm talking about. And just as you guys can see here, everything's fine. Just, you'll see here when we pull the valve cover off how bad it is. And it might not even be as bad as I think it is looking through the oil hole, the fill hole in the valve cover, but let's get it inside. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what I saw, and this is why we're gonna pull this tonight. See that? Stands for NFG. Not freaking good. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this thing blown apart. Okay, so this is about a half hour into it. Haven't organized anything, but everything looks good so far that I've taken off. Definitely tell the turbos ate a little bit of dirt, but that's to be expected. Our hot pipe has officially really bronzed up nicely. You can see what our intercooler pipes started out. Hood stacks also bronzed. Wastegate pipes have actually turned blue. That's pretty cool. But yeah, here's the turbine wheel of the G57, the 480. Both of those look fine. So far, I haven't found anything crazy. This, I got told by Eric's Normal, this little bit of seeping of the water, it just kind of makes its way through the block filler. So not too concerned about that. I'm working on this side now. Fuel and then a little bit of wiring. I'd say I got about 15 minutes until this side's apart. We'll take our belt off, that way I'm not spraying fuel as I crank the motor over. We'll get our converter bolts out, disconnect our trans, slide that back a little bit, get our cables off, and she should be out. I'd say maybe another of actual work, like an hour of how I'm working currently, maybe a couple, but you know, it just nature of the beast. These things come apart really easy when they've been apart a million times. So, well, we got the trans unbolted, just took the valve cover off. That is water and oil. So at least now you guys know we're not BSing here. This is what inside the engine looks like. Generally, when they milkshake like that, the valve cover looks the worst because like it condensates up there. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of water that got mixed in here. Water and like water wetter. So I'm gonna get the valve cover harness pulled off, the rocker box pulled off, and then we'll yank this motor out. Everything else is disconnected, wiring, trans, all that stuff. So it should be about 15 minutes. It's out. There are no holes in it. I don't see any crazy damage on the back. Really, just really not too sure what happened. I mean, hopefully it's just a cracked head. It's simple to explain, easy to fix. But we will strip this down, pull this motor apart. Again, not in this video, but later on. And we'll get it refreshed and ready to go for the next time. But for right now, she's out. Let's go ahead, and you guys have watched me do this a million times. So I'm gonna just rip this down, get it all transferred over to the other engine, and we'll pick this back up. Okay, so this is where we're gonna end tonight. Took a little bit longer. I had to come up with a new way to mount our fuel distribution block. I drilled through the intake plenum, put a bolt, or tapped it, put a bolt, and then just 545 thread sealant on that, which is exactly what we do on like the rail mounts too. And we had to do a little bit different plumbing. I'm not sure. So we've ran this setup, this head on a deck plate, and I've bent this line here for our other deck plate. So I think I'll try to find another line before I start tweaking that one again. But we have all of our wiring hooked up, all of our fuel plumbing done, starters on. I decided to just go with dual pumps, although the more I look at this, the more I don't want to. But we'll see. We'll see what's up. Okay, so if you guys know about input shafts, if they twist, the converter fights you coming off and it'll spin. The converter itself will spin. So it's fully seated, can't get my hand back there, right? Straight out. So rather than make a ton of mess with the fluid, because there's still a bunch of trans fluid, if you pull the converter out, it'll spill all that fluid out. So rather than making a mess and doing all that with the fluid the way it looked, the line pressure the way it looked, and the converter sliding straight out, we're just gonna send it, guys. I don't think it's hurt. I think we'll be fine. I might regret that in a couple weeks, but for right now, the trans is at least filled. We don't have to worry about filling that and doing a break-in all by ourselves. So we will get this stabbed in the morning, and then we'll do our cam break-in. This does have a fresh cam in it. We will do our first hot retorque and put it all together. And the nice part about this, again, guys, this is a wet block. I got to thinking about it. I'm not sure how many events we're going to hit, but this should let us put on the racetrack 1600 horsepower down without an issue. That should put us, if we stay at this weight, like low sixes. If we get lighter, maybe 590, not too sure. This will let us sled pull whatever we want to do. And then if this thing survives the summer, it'll be our KOS motor. If it doesn't, we'll figure that out. We got Old Faithful back there, our deck plate. And then shout out to goals achieved here. We got these hung last weekend, and that, I mean, every day I come in here and I look at that, I just smile. That was the goal. You guys always remember banners. We got them. Wish there were more, but we have 2. Okay, we are back. Battle this out. I did have a stripped starter bolt. Not really sure when it happened, but whatever. We got it Healy coiled now. That's this right here. For those of you guys that are new, a Healy coil is a way to save a thread. Now, it doesn't always work every time. There's also nut certs and a couple other things, but these Healy coils, what you do is you ream, which, shout out to Amazon. This kit, here's the part number, Amazon, freaking awesome. So it comes with, this kit specifically comes with metric and standard. You have your 1/4 to 1/2, and here are the thread pitches. So it's all coarse thread on the metric or standard side, and then on the metric, M5, M610, M8 125, M10 125. These right here are the most common bolt sizes on your Cummins that I've seen. And then the nice part about this kit is it comes with the oversized drill bit. It comes with the tap, comes with the insert, and basically what you do is you remove the strip fastener, get it out. And let's say I just had to use this. This is the starter bolt, M1015. I drill the stripped threads out with this. Then I run this tap through it. And then you simply just attach the Healy coil. That's what this part is here. You run this tool through it. And you see how there's this tang. Well, that tang grabs here, thread it in. Once you've reached your desired installed depth, you pull this out. Now the Healy coil is in there. And if it's one of those with the pass-through, they actually include a punch to knock this end off. So if you so choose, you can break it. It's actually fractured. Oh my goodness. It's actually fractured if you look real close right there. So it's designed to break if you need to. If it's like a blind hole and you go to the bottom, you don't need to. If it's a pass-through hole, you just simply smack it with a hammer. But now let's go ahead and get this engine installed into the quad cab. After you've done this about 1,000,000 times, you get pretty good at shoehorning these things in here, especially without a deck plate. Easy. So now I'm going to go underneath, get our transmission bolted up to our engine. As you guys can see here, we're actually pretty close already. not too far off. So hopefully I only cuss and fight this for about an hour. And then from there, what we'll do is we're going to buzz our converter bolts in. That will give them plenty of time to set up while we bolt everything else on. So that's kind of the game plan today. I want to get this thing fired up, cam broke in, hot retorque, coolant in it, and all back together, ready to drive. Okay, I'm starting to get pretty good at getting these trannies back in with ratchet straps, pulling on certain parts. Best thing I can tell you to do is if you pull the motor and you're putting another motor in without pulling the trans, what I like to do is get a Harbor Freight trans jack under it to support the weight. And then I take a ratchet strap, and it's kind of hard to see from up here and it's too dark down there, but that flange on your T-case right there, if you guys look right there, all right, you want to go on the top side of it, and then you ratchet strap it around the front axle, and that allows you to slide the trans forward. The trans jack keeps your pitch correctly, and then literally you get it with a little tension on the adapter plate, okay? Once that tension is there, you literally just move the trans with your hands, and then as soon as it gets on the dowels, it flies in. Crank the strap one more time to keep tension, and go ahead and put your bolts in. Kind of took a little longer than I thought, but you know what? We're here now. One thing I did notice is we have a rail plug in this, not a relief valve, so we'll fix that. We have our intercooler pipe from the DDP truck. It's a pretty tight fit in there. I'll be honest, not a huge fan of it. But what I'm thinking is this should line up pretty good with our intercooler. But it's too long because our intercooler has the stubs. So we'll cut it here and here, probably run a boot right there, give it a little flex. It's not going to blow a boot. Vangin on one side, V-band on the other. No way. It'll like explode the boot, but that's about it. We have our single 480 on here with the hood stack set up. Injectors are unplugged up here, but they are hooked up down here. So we have reached the point. I'm gonna hook up the battery and crank this thing over. Everything's hooked up, hopefully. Everything's tight, hopefully. Let's do the thing. Look at this line I made, guys. God dang, that's pretty good. I bent it in that press. We are back on my junk tuning instead of Dom's, and it's not a stab at him, it's just the file I had. So now we're gonna go ahead, prime this fuel system up. Okay, so we have oil pressure. It was on the gauge, but it dropped off. So now we're gonna go ahead and make sure we have it on the rocker arms. I love it when these bolts just rattle in enough where they're... Okay, we should be good now. So we do have oil, fresh oil in all of our rocker arms, like so. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and plug our injectors in and instantly back this truck up and out of the shop. That way we can do our cam break-in outside, not smoke up the entire shop. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, fire this puppy up. Again, we wanna get it outside as fast as we can. Let's go ahead. That was close. alternator is not charging, so I'm pretty sure I forgot to plug that in, but it's outside. And you guys can see where we're at oil pressure wise, 85 PSI. Before I do the cam brake in, big thing, we didn't leave any puddles, so I know our high pressure fuel system is sealed up. What I'm going to do is get our area clean in here for the most part, and then lay out my tools for the hot retorque. So I need to take the valve cover off. So 5 mil, I need to take the injector harness off, that's an 8 mil. I need to take the rocker box off, that is 10 mil. Rocker arms, I believe the intake ones are all I need, so that's a 10 mil. And I'll lay that all out and get a parts tray so that way I can keep track of everything, and then we can bust out our hot retorque as fast as possible without having to find the tools and everything else while it's cooling off. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll do the cam brake in. I got the hot retorque done, and I just kind of was burnt out. And then I realized today was Father's Day, so I know it's a little late by the time you guys watch this, but for all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. It's certainly not an easy job at times. So anyway, you know, talk to all my family and father-like figures, and now we're back on this. The only thing I did do was I put the rocker arms back on, and obviously set lash again, put the rocker box on, valve cover harness on, and then the valve cover itself. Just got everything hooked back up. Now it is time to figure out our intercooler system. I really want to keep using that intercooler, but I'm not sure if it'll fit. I want to say it'll be close, but I don't remember. So long story short, we're going to get our intercooler pipe from our high pressure turbo, which is this 480 here, get that ran in, and then also get this side figured out as well. Not really too sure how I want to do it yet. And the nice part is this thing runs, so really it doesn't matter if we get it done or not this weekend. The progress has been made, so I'm gonna hem and haw some more on this and see what we want to do. I've also thought about maybe just running single turbo, but that also sounds pretty lame, so not too sure. Left to my own devices, we have really made some ground. All the oil lines, oil feed, oil drain. Our compound kit's completely bolted in, wastegate plumbed, all of that. We will have to change over our nitrous fittings from our other pipe, but that is about it on there. We got our intercooler pipes pretty much lined up. As I told you guys, we're running that boot there, V-band there. Everything's wired, plumbed, tight. Now it is time to throw our radiator in. We're gonna use the same one, that Chinese radiator, bolted in here. Stock lower radiator hose. I'll pull the fire pump thermostat housing off, and we'll run our fancy 16 or 20 AN hose for the upper radiator, and then we'll throw our intercooler in, and after that it'll be time to throw our bumper on, and that's pretty much going to be a wrap for this one. I don't know if we're going to be able to drive it in this video, but I'll at least let you guys hear it running. Maybe we'll even spool it up real quick. I am utterly disappointed in myself. It took us all weekend, and it runs, but it is not streetable yet. I got to put the rear shocks in. I got to fix this front fender liner, and then we have a leaking freeze plug. I know, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to pull the wastegate off to get to it, because of course it's the only one you can't get to. But we are done other than that. So I'd say maybe a couple hours of work on that freeze plug, and then throw coolant in, throw some bolts in our rear shocks, and fix our fender liner, and we are ready for the next event. Everything looked healthy. Oil filter looked good. And yeah, I'm excited to have this back. We switched back to our OG piping setup that I made for Fitzgerald's dyno event. So not as pretty, but still as effective. And then we have this temporary thing here. This is honestly really bothering me, so I think I'm probably gonna end up fixing that. I'm not sure if I'll throw another Vangin in there or what, but if I clock that pipe up, well, I mean, I kept the section I cut out, but I think we're going to change that. It's really bothering me. So we'll probably get to that in a little bit, as you guys can see all over the ground. But let me fire this thing up. I'll spool it up, hopefully. I think I got all our boost leaks taken care of. And we'll put an end to this video. Quick. Okay guys, our total boost is this one. Our inner stage is that one. There's our EGT. So I got it first. We're just gonna try spooling it. I have no idea if it'll actually spool. And that's all it took to spin the tires. I don't even know how much that was. Let me try it again in 4-wheel drive. Gonna have to fix that ramp down with the little bit of rail hang there, but I think the last time this was in, I had a single 14, so that would make sense. Closing, guys, I'm very disappointed in myself that I wasn't able to give you guys that test drive, but you know, it's Sunday, it's getting a little late. I think I'm just gonna call it, that way I'm fresh for the week. But the 07 is a half a day away from being back up and running. As you guys can see here, our sweet coolant leak there. And it leaked all the way. So just, there's our little burnout mark. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. We are extremely close to the merch drop. I think we'll probably do it right when I get back from my little summer vacation with my family, which will be around July 20th. We will launch it. I appreciate all the feedback. It'll probably be here before then, but I'd hate to launch it and then immediately have to leave and you guys don't get your orders. So we'll delay it a little bit. And yeah, we'll have 2 t-shirts, koozie, and some hats. So again, not super huge, but you know, we gotta start small. Anyway, guys, hopefully you like this one. Drop your comment on any events in the eastern part of the United States that we can go to. I plan on doing the ODSS stuff with either that or the Mega Cab or my Duramax. And then now that we've got this thing back up and runnable, we're gonna get to the 6-liter. I'm not sure if we'll tear down the deck plate first and then tear down the 6-liter core or vice versa, but we are very close to that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I will catch y'all on the next one.